With early National Signing Day coming and gone, we're going to take a look at both the fate of USC and UCLA. There is a report claiming that the Chargers are targeting Jim Harbaugh. And would the Dodgers spend $1 billion for just two players? Possible. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It is December 21st, 2023. This is going to be my last day out here. Tomorrow morning, I got one more clip and then I head back out to St. Louis. Not looking forward to it, but I am looking forward to talking LA sports with you guys. Do you like being in the know about LA? Well, if you do, click the like button. Click the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It lets you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist, and by all means, comment. So, before we go through the news and notes, we're going to take a look at the scoreboard. Honestly, kind of a tough night for the Angelenos. LeBron James scored 25, but we have to be honest about the Lakers. They're just piddling around right now. They lose to Chicago 124-108. Now look, you could say the in-season tournament screwed with them. They are 1-4 since that stupid tournament was done. I just don't buy it. The in-season tournament is not that special, guys. It isn't. Meanwhile, 9 consecutive wins for the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard continues to scorch the earth. He scores 30 points last night. Clippers 120, Dallas 111. Frustrating night at Crypto.com Arena last night. Blake Lizotte scored, but Seattle edged the Kings 2-1. The Kings took 43 shots. Only one got through. Meanwhile, today, good time at SoFi tonight. This is critical for the Rams' chances to make the playoffs. New Orleans at LA, 5:15. Meanwhile, the Lakers are at Minnesota at 6 o'clock, and the Clippers are going to be at Oklahoma City, also at 6 o'clock. Now, we'll start with USC because that's been the team that, frankly, well, they actually put more effort into National Signing Day than UCLA. And I want to also let you know about both USC and UCLA. I'm not going to start throwing all these random names as if I know all these teenagers. No, I do not spend that much time scouting teenagers. I watched that 2-hour, 3-hour thing they had on ESPN yesterday about National Signing Day so that you won't have to. But at the end of the day, they are teenagers. I am not going that deep into it, not like that. Instead, we're going to take an overview and tell you what both schools tried to focus on and didn't focus on, maybe what they should have focused on. Go with that. So for the Trojans, National Signing Day was actually mostly uneventful. There was only one last moment change of heart. 18 of the 19 people who had committed up to Tuesday night kept their word and signed on Wednesday. Lincoln Riley told the LA Times that he was happy that the players stayed, especially after so many had slipped out of the program in the last couple of weeks via the transfer portal. Now, there was a wide receiver who flipped his commitment from USC to Oregon at the last moment, but Riley had been preaching the importance of size, of adding heft to both the offensive and defensive lines so that the Trojans could match up in the Big Ten. So on that point, USC should be pretty content with what they wound up getting. The class includes 5 offensive linemen, and that is a relief. Remember, Caleb Williams was under fire for a big chunk of last season. The Trojans tried to rebuild the offensive line on the fly via the transfer portal. It did not work. They have to basically rebuild their offensive line by coaching them up from freshman year on, in my opinion. Offensive skill, I have to tell you, was surprisingly lacking. They only added one receiver, a 4-star prospect named Xavier Jordan. They only had one running back from high school, a 3-star running back named Brian Jackson. And by the way, no quarterbacks, which is an extremely troubling thing, which we'll talk about a little bit more in just a moment. On the defensive side, again, Size mattered to the Trojans. They're getting rid of the whole speed D concept of Alex Grinch. Last year, they tried to add size to the transfer portal. Grinch was addicted to smaller guys who could run like hell. Didn't work. So now, again, going to the Big Ten, they added 6 players to the defensive front, including a few defensive linemen. Now, a few weeks ago, we were talking about the average height and size of a defensive lineman in college. The average in terms of pounds, 270. They added 4 edge rushers and 2 defensive linemen. The defensive linemen in question come into school weighing 280. So they're already bigger than the average defensive lineman in college football. But going back to quarterback, because I would be remiss if I didn't go into more depth about that. What with Caleb Williams very, very likely going to the NFL and Malachi Nelson allegedly entering the transfer portal. ESPN and the LA Times said that Riley made a very strong push at the last minute for 5-star quarterback DJ Lagway. But the kid kept his word and signed with Florida as he had promised. The focus for quarterback now obviously turns to the transfer portal. But even if the Trojans land Will Howard of Kansas State, the dude will be a senior when he plays for SC. So what does that mean? It means that they'll have no quarterback at all for 2025. That is a major problem looming for the 2025 season. Wouldn't you say? It's not like they're going to go to the single wing. Now, as for UCLA, if you thought Chip Kelly might figure that changing conferences means a change in approach, wrong, dead wrong. Kelly simply hasn't spent a lot of energy recruiting from the high schools during his time with the Bruins. UCLA ranks 60th in the country and 17th in the Big Ten in terms of recruiting. There's only one team that came in lower in the conference, Northwestern. 3 of the schools in the Big Ten changed their coaches, which means a brand new coaching staff and a brand new recruiting staff came in at the very last minute. And 2 of them still outperformed UCLA in high school recruiting, which is bananas to me. But you can still at least argue that the Bruins have found a solution to the Dante Moore conundrum. You might recall, Moore was a 5-star quarterback. He basically bolted, returned to Oregon. Henry Hasselbeck, a kid from Massachusetts, is the son of former NFL quarterback Matt Hasselbeck. Henry signed with the Bruins. Hasselbeck is a 3-star prospect. He had originally committed to playing for Michigan State before the Spartans coach was fired in a sexual harassment scandal. Hasselbeck could not stop raving about Coach Kelly. Quote, "Talking to him really opened my eyes to what football can be. He knows the whole language about football, and he's a great guy, first and foremost. When he came up to visit me here before my visit, just starting a relationship with him and seeing him talk to my parents, talking to him myself, he's just a great guy overall," unquote. Now, to be clear, I'm not suggesting this guy has the pedigree that Dante Moore had. Pedigree in terms of family tree, sure, but pedigree in terms of, oh my God, this kid is can't miss? No, I can't go there. You have to figure, though, that being the son of a dude who played quarterback for 17 years in the NFL, it has to count for something. Then comes the curious case of tight end Rob Booker, who was supposed to sign with UCLA yesterday and changed his mind at the last minute to return to his home state and play for Wisconsin. He talked with The Athletic after signing with the Badgers and said he wanted to go to UCLA, quote, "because I thought that would be best for my future. And it still might be. I don't really know. But the school I regret not going to is Wisconsin," unquote. So you're reading that quote, and honestly, guys, that's why I'm not trying to flood you with a bunch of names of teenagers. They're indecisive. They claim they know how the world works. Didn't we claim we knew how the world works when we were 18, 19? Of course we did. Were we right? No. So yeah, because of the impulsiveness, I don't want to flood you guys with a bunch of names so you could fall in love with these prospects and then all of a sudden they bolt in the transfer portal about a year later. Malachi Nelson. But you let me know, by the way, what you thought of both USC and UCLA's day. Meanwhile, the Belcher report is claiming that the Chargers are interested in bringing Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh back to the NFL. That could be one way to interpret the story. You know what's another way to interpret the story? That Jim Harbaugh's people sent out the story to the scribes to create leverage for a new contract extension worth at least $55 million. See, Harbaugh is not above trying to use the NFL as, or schools, I should say, as leverage one way or another to get a better contract. He is not above doing that. The dude has been linked with multiple NFL jobs for years. And he uses it to scare the athletic department with the Wolverines to get them back to the negotiating table. So why would the Chargers be any different? The dude signed an extension way back in 2022. The ink isn't even dry on that damn contract. And now we're hearing about him tearing it up to come to the Chargers. But we're also hearing a lot of scuttlebutt about wanting another extension. What sounds more truthful to you? I think he's using the Chargers to try to get that extensions, guys. Just saying. The LA Times has reported that the Chargers are considering a bid of $250 to $300 million for Japanese pitcher Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Now the Giants, the Phillies, and the Yankees are supposed to be in the mix. You will hear about Boston, but to be honest with you, from what I'm understanding, I'm not so sure the Red Sox are seriously on Yamamoto's radar. But to revisit something I previously reported, I originally said that I didn't think they would be in the running for Yamamoto because they had signed Shohei Ohtani to a $700 million contract. My original take, though, is irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant because hundreds of millions of dollars of Ohtani's contract is deferred. So they do theoretically have the wherewithal to go after Yamamoto. Also, if the Dodgers do wind up trading for Milwaukee pitcher Corbin Burnes, a former Cy Young Award winner, they should know he has no interest in signing an immediate extension. He wants to try free agency regardless. Now, this would be in concert with what his agent, Scott Boras, would want. Scott Boras really, really likes to screw people out of as much money as possible, which honestly, that is his job. He is an agent, right? But it is also why the Dodgers are loath to do business with Boras. Why would you do business with somebody that you feel is handling you? LAFC has signed their coach, Steve Cherundolo, to a multi-year extension. Obviously, it's the right thing to do. The guy only led the team to one MLS Cup title and a second MLS Cup appearance, not to mention CONCACAF Champions League final, Leagues Cup final, all in 2 years. Oh, and by the way, he also finally got the team to be able to relax after Rob Bradley gave everybody a case of the tight ass for about 5 years, right? Can't forget that. That helps. Cherundolo originally, I have to admit, seemed like an odd choice, considering that he coached the woeful Las Vegas Lights over in the USL. And the Lights have never qualified for the playoffs in their history in the USL. But he is the third coach in MLS history to reach MLS Cup finals in each of his first 2 seasons. So, yeah, I would imagine he kind of deserves an extension and a raise. Angel City FC have locked up its best defender in Sarah Gordon through at least 2026. She was named one of NWSL's best 11 for the year 2023. However, It's free agency. You gain some, you lose some. They lose midfielders, Savannah McCaskill to San Diego. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me about USC and UCLA and early National Signing Day. Do you believe the Chargers are actually going after Jim Harbaugh? And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.